Oh, Terry's bright, and then I'm bright. Terry, bright.
Hey. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. Obviously, we just wanted to. Obviously, Jack's the admin for the Back to the Future UK fan site, and I help out on the Back to the Future musical spoilers site. So we just thought it'd be good to have a chat with you guys. Obviously, you're well known in the Back to the Future world, kind of thing, but not so much across the pond. I know a lot of people do know you across the pond, but I think it'd be great to get your message out there across the two different sites, if that's okay with yourself.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
No, thank you for joining us. So, yeah, just Jack, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'd love to know how you're both doing in these crazy times.
Well, we figured we were safe for the Zoom, so we're not wearing our masks, but we have our hand sanitizer and everything else. We're just trying to comply and do the best we can for ourselves and everybody else. Just trying to cooperate and follow the procedures like everybody is, hopefully. Trying to get through this as thoroughly as possible.
Pretty background. What a collection.
Yeah, that's very impressive. You must be a Back to the Future fan or something.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I've just moved into my my son's nursery because it seems to be a better connection out there. So for those that don't know, just tell us a bit of...
Well, I'm going to guess you said tell a bit about ourselves.
Okay. I saw the movie when it came out in the theaters, 1985, and it was the first film that I can recall where I actually had to. I paid to go see it multiple times. It made that big an impression on me. And years later, I met Terry at a theater. As a matter of fact, working at theater, we have a theater background, and during breaks we'd go out to dinner or grab lunch, and I asked her what was her favorite movie.
Well, I said Back to the Future, and that was a good answer.
Yeah, and we just kind of clicked, and fast forward to today, we got married, and we've been actually fortunate enough to go all over the world as a result of the movie. Whenever we see Bob Gale, Terry always reminds him.
That was his fault.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
His fault.
So what is it about Back to the Future that you both have a strong love for?
It's a wonderful movie, a great friendship. It's exciting, it's fun, and now that we know that there are 3 of them, the idea that the stories continue and the friendship just gets stronger, it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah, and I relate to the movie a lot. When I was in high school, when I saw the movie the first time, I related to Michael J. Fox because his character was about my age. I wasn't really that into cars, but boy, that DeLorean sure got me into cars quickly, at least specifically, DeLorean time machines. And really what sums it up is the movie is timeless. 35 years now, and it's still going strong. People are still finding it for the first time, the younger generations, and it holds up. It's just at its very center, it's a great story.
Obviously, I know that you guys built your own time machine. Tell us how that came about and what you guys do with it.
We did. Like I said, I was never really into cars, but the movie really inspired me to one day, build a DeLorean time machine. Not really a mechanic, but
being in theater, we made a lot of props, so we're pretty clever in that regard.
Yeah, we're used to fabricating things out of nothing, so we're on a very little budget. So the time presented itself for us to finally move on this bucket list item, and we bought the car, and within about 3.5 months, we had something that was looking like a DeLorean time machine. Now, this was about 20 years ago. So this was long before you could go on eBay and just buy one from the people who are creating them now. But I'm glad, because I may have been intimidated by the price. and I may not have had the experience of building and fabricating and creating the parts and components on my own, which was really a rewarding experience because we both would work on it together.
And what has that led on to? Because I know it's created some fantastic opportunities, and you mentioned that you've been all over the world. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, we've traveled all 50 of the states. That had been our initial mission.
Well, when we first built the car, we did it for selfish reasons. It was something that we wanted to do. And then we saw the reaction it was getting from other people. Other people seemed to be really into it as well. They'd smile and wave and want to take pictures with the car. And we thought, wow, this is really cool. We're not alone in the world. There are a lot of fans out there of the movie or the car. And about that same time, when we were building the time machine, we found out that the Michael J. Fox Foundation was being created. And we thought, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if we could kind of
harness the energy, all those folks that are interested and excited when they see the time machine. Well, maybe we could do something good with the time machine in regards to the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Kind of direct all that enthusiasm towards something beneficial. And so we set a goal to tour all 50 states, drive the car, the time machine to all 50 states, raising funding and awareness. And that's what we did. It took a little longer than we initially thought it would, but
we accomplished that. And along the way, we also traveled to 28 countries.
Yeah, 28
Yes,
other countries.
28 countries.
So all 50 United States, most of Canada, the Yukon territories.
Mexico. We were flown, we have a flying time machine. We were flown to Argentina, and we shipped the car to Europe and Japan and Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't drive to Hawaii. That road hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, the interstate hasn't been.
Great. So you guys came to the UK in the car, didn't you? I'm sure you went from like Scotland down to London. Is that right?
We did. We took a ferry over from Ireland to Scotland, drove down. We had it could have been a Greek tragedy in Greece, so our trip got kind of cut short. There was a bit of an accident. The car had to be repaired, so we lost about a week and a half of time.
A week, 7
week,
days. Yeah.
7 days. And our tour through England was abbreviated, but we were able to, we got to Stonehenge. What a fantastic place.
Yeah, Stonehenge was amazing. We got to see just a lot of Europe. We drove like maniacs as far and as wide as we could. We met a lot of wonderful folks. Some folks, I forgot his name, in Ireland. Devin reached out to us and said, hey,
a fellow we never met.
Never met. He was kind of following us on our journey. He was like, I got a spare bedroom if you're coming through and you need a place to park the car. Up. And he put us up for the night and gave our car a little safe place to park.
Yeah, we found a lot of kindness through that trip. It was, our purpose to go was to attend the Denmark Comic Con in Copenhagen, and we were hosted by our friends Thomas and Maria Argyris.
Shout out.
Hello. With that,
who actually runs the Back to the Future Denmark Facebook group.
Yes, they do. With that invitation, we decided to make the most of it. Coming all the way over, we didn't want to just spend a little bit of time to get, to see Copenhagen. We decided to see as much of Europe as we could, and that's where we wrecked up a lot of the countries. And it was a beautiful drive. Altogether, to date, we've traveled over 813,000 miles. And along with that's been the fundraising throughout the world. Folks, as I said, Japan, Argentina, all over Europe. Our total is over $800,000 in fundraising for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So we're going to find that cure for Parkinson's.
We're aiming for 1 million miles and a $1 million donation.
That's fantastic.
That is incredible.
So you mentioned
anyone can do this though. You present people, you get an idea, and you present people with an opportunity to give, to participate in something that they love, that they're passionate about, and it can happen anywhere with anyone.
You've mentioned some of the lovely people along the way as well. What do you think of the Back to the Future community as a whole around the world? Are they welcoming people?
Extremely welcoming, very kind. Sometimes we call it DeLorean privilege, but the kindness, that's just amazing.
It's that common thread. It's the common love of Back to the Future, and I don't think you can love the movie without loving the cast, and the creative team behind it. So there's so much to be enthusiastic about and so much to love.
Forgive me, I can't remember his name, but in Paris, we met up with some friends, and there was a fella, and he's the voice of Marty for France.
Luke, I think it is.
Yes, Luke. But it was a moment of, I can't believe this, because that's their celebrity. That's France's celebrity when it comes to Back to the Future. He's the guy that voices Marty.
In all the films, not just.
Oh yeah, that's true. He does all of Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
He's France's Michael J.
He's Doc Hollywood and everybody else.
I can imagine that you must get some fantastic reactions as well from people when they see you rock up in the car, and that must span through different generations as well.
It does. You would think. A lot of people say, well, I'm sure the kids don't recognize the car or know the movie, and you'd be surprised.
They're reciting the movie to us.
Sure.
Their favorite scenes, favorite moments. It's a timeless movie. It's a time traveling movie, but it affects everyone in different ways.
But it's always positive.
Yeah.
When we pull up in the car, the DeLorean, or when we're on the highway, the reactions are always very positive, which is really cool. People always smile, or they give us a thumbs up, or they honk, or they're taking pictures. But that's a wonderful thing, to be kind of borrowing or sharing is that positivity. But parents are introducing their kids to Back to the Future. Speaking of new parents, congratulations, Daz. And have you introduced your little one? Is there any Back to the Future influence in your nursery right now?
There is. We've currently got it Toy Story themed. When he's old enough, trust me, I will be passing that film down. I mean, I was born in 1988, so someone's passed it down to me. Because obviously the film had been out 3 years before I was even born.
The original, but you made it in time for some of the sequels, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just about. So whilst you guys are here, you've recently done a trip to the UK, and that was to visit to come and watch the musical in my hometown of Manchester, which was great to have you all here. What do you think of it?
Thank you for your hospitality. What a wonderful way to meet Manchester. Yeah,
you were kind of like the ringleader, organizing and getting everyone together, being a local.
It was I just knew a couple of places where I thought, that's big enough for us all to fit in. That'd be good.
It was swell. The traveling for the musical, we were very lucky in that in 2019 we were invited to the workshop in London.
What month was that?
February.
So
February.
One year before, yeah.
February 2019, we're in basically a black box theater with a read through of the musical, and we were charmed at that moment. There was wonderful stuff happening on the stage. There was some props. The musicians were there, a small band. But the cast, Roger and Ollie were Doc and Marty, and to be able to come to 2020, see the show in Manchester.
Completely fleshed out with the lighting and the full orchestra and everything. It had come a long way, and yet a lot of the charm was still there, and the actors.
Oh, the casting was wonderful. They were able to keep Roger and Ollie and the gentleman that played George McFly. Oh, forgive me, I've forgotten your name. But the cast was really strong. And
we were shocked that most of them were British because they pulled off the American accent so well, or right. the Hill Valley accents, I should say.
So brilliant. Did you have any idea when you saw it in 2019 that it would be as successful, or that it would turn out as well as it did?
Definitely hoped so. the power of the music, what Alan Silvestri had done to put the words to the music, to create the working scenes. The team was fantastic in taking a movie and making it a musical, but keeping the theme very strong.
Yeah. Again, it was a workshop, so they still had a lot of work to do. But again, the base material was there, great music was there, and they were able to plus it in a lot of places. Add extra little funny lines that the characters would say that weren't in the movie. So and nothing. I'm sure you've been to the movie when the rest of the crowd was full of fans, and the fans cheer when George punches Biff out. It's a wonderful feeling because everybody's expressing the same feeling at that moment. Well, the musical is like watching the movie only tenfold, because everybody is vocalizing their approval of the heroes or their disapproval of Biff, and clapping and laughing together. So it's a whole new experience live.
Jack, were you there opening night for the premiere?
I sure was.
All right,
Yes,
so
I was with Daz. Yeah.
The electricity in that room, I swear my hair was standing on end. Just powerful. And the first chord music, the audience not knowing, and then Marty making his entrance, and the silence in the audience on the stage as he proceeded through the scene, and then the roar as the sound happens for the guitar. Just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we have a theater background. We met in theater. We've worked in theater for years, and it just comes down to that live experience. Everybody experiencing it together at that moment is just incredible. It's hard to explain if you're not a theater person, or if you've never been to live theater.
Because, like I said, you're gonna get some cheering in the cinema and stuff like that, but when it's at the theater, it's like everyone gets involved and everyone's cheering them on. We went the first 2 nights, and it was just incredible both nights.
It's just such an atmosphere, isn't there? I thought when Roger Bart made his first entrance as Doc on the stage for the first time, I didn't think he would get a chance to say his lines, because the crowd were just going crazy, weren't they?
Well, between him and the car, just awesome.
And the illusion, the special effect that they pull off for Doc's entrance, that's got to be one of the most incredible entrances in musical theater history.
Yeah, I mean, you can exit one way, but entering that way.
We're trying not to give too much away, because the people on the spoilers page will have seen it, but people on the UK fans page might not have seen. Not everyone might have seen it, so we're trying not to give away too much, because we're confident it's going to be back. Let's put it that way. It was that much of a success. Obviously, what's going on in the world, it couldn't be helped, but we know it's going to be back, and everyone in the UK, if not on Broadway, out in the States somewhere, is going to see this musical.
It will. I agree. That's the I guess the consolation that I give myself is the musical has been created. The music is written down. The scripts exist. So it is literally for all time now. As is the nature of theater itself, the casts and crews will change, the venues will change, the orchestras will change, but the creative product, if you will, now exists for all time. And that's pretty exciting. That it's. I mean, name some old theater. I mean, my gosh, the Rodgers and Hammerstein classics and all. They're still being produced. Revivals are being brought up every year. So Bob and Alan and the whole gang have created yet one more wonderful thing for us. What have you guys been doing? During the kind of the
Quarantine.
Quarantine. Yes. How have you been celebrating? Your magnificent obsessions. How have you been staying in touch and exercising your creative love for Back to the Future?
I think we've just been, obviously Jack's admin on his UK page, and I've just been asked to be admin on the spoilers page, which is run by a guy called Tony Brusco. He set that up for that page, and it's just been, I think in a whole, it's just great to be able to liaise with different fans across the world. Like I think me and Jack are both part of the Citizens of Hill Valley page. We met quite a few of them opening night, and I mean, I knew a few guys anyway, but I met so many more at the musical. So it's just great to have one big community where everyone just loves each other. They don't like, no one criticizes one another. They just love what they love. We're all a mad bunch, but we love what we love.
Yeah, exactly. What we've been doing to kind of keep ourselves busy, we're not able to go to Comic-Cons and show the car and fundraise and things like that. So we've been kind of focusing on, well, like we put some things online. Like I noticed the pin you're wearing. We've got our pins, you know, the world premiere pin.
There you go.
And you know, we created just 100 of those things, and we had a few leftovers, so we put those on an online store. So that's, you know, kind of a way to keep the fundraising going, since we can't go to Comic-Cons. We put a few other things online, you know, that collectibles and things.
Being Team Fox members, we've got a liaison at the Michael J. Fox office, and they've been reaching out to us trying to figure out inventive ways to continue. So hopefully we'll come up with some more ideas of ways folks can at least be aware that there's the foundation, and if there's an opportunity and and we were able to do something they like, donations can be made and we can continue fundraising.
Show them
Oh yeah.
Stephen Clark, who runs the website backtothefuture.com, made a very generous donation. He had these micro puzzles created with our car, and it was a photo shoot with Christopher Lloyd. But he had these micro puzzles made, and he donated them for us to use as fundraisers. So it's really cool. It's great for being in quarantine, because a lot of people like to do puzzles. It's only 150 pieces, so it doesn't take you forever like those 2,000 pieces.
No, but this is
But it is challenging because it's tiny. Can you see it?
I don't know. It fell.
Yeah, careful not to lose anything. So are they up for auction or something then?
We've just got them on our website. I think he had a few made, and we put them on the website store. It's DeLoreanTimeMachine.com. And you can work your way to the store that way.
Fantastic.
It also has direct links to our Team Fox page if you want to just go there and donate directly to them.
Obviously, you have a time machine. If you had access to plutonium and it was actually a working time machine, when and where would you like to travel to, and why?
That's an easy answer for me. What do you think?
Well, in this day and age, I want to go back and say people be more careful so that the coronavirus doesn't become what it is right now.
Prevent the virus. I always say that I like to go 100 years into the future. It's a nice round number. And if you look back in history, what we've accomplished and what's transpired over the past 100 years is just mind-blowing. So I truly believe that at some point we're going to see some teleportation-like science going on. People, some people think that might be crazy, but if you look back at the amazing, we're carrying computers, building-sized computers in our pockets now. I just think it'd be interesting to see, 100 years into the future, what's happening.
Well,
what about you?
Go on, Jack. I'll let you answer first. It was your question.
Oh, I should have had something prepared. Well, I think that any time period in the past fascinates me. So I would be happy to go back to any decade and just see the differences in lifestyles. And I don't have a particular.
Maybe the year 1885, perhaps.
Well, yes, would be very interesting. Although one period I'd love to go to would be the sort of ancient Egypt. See,
Oh, very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, very much so. We would love to see the pyramids. That's been something on my bucket list for a long time.
Yeah.
Fascinating culture.
I'm just going to go with the really cheesy answer. I'd like to go back and maybe like spend more time with my grandparents and stuff like that, and meet their parents and things like that. Just like, because I don't really know much about like my ancestry, so it'd just be cool to maybe go, let's go and see what they were up to 50 years ago.
Maybe you have a Seamus in your background.
Yeah, maybe. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us and taking time out to speak to us. Obviously, this will go out on the fan sites, and really appreciate your time. It's been great chatting to you.
Yes.
Thank
Lovely.
you for the opportunity. Thanks for asking us, and we would love. We're always looking to expand our friendships in Europe. So maybe at some point we'll be able to bring the car back and tour some more.
Or if you make it to the States, let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll definitely be over there at some point.
Yeah. Whereabouts in the States are you, by the way, out of interest?
We're on the East Coast, about 8.5 hours north of Disney World.
Okay.
So we're in South Carolina.
We're in South Carolina.
Well, me and my wife will be getting out to Wilmington one day, and I believe you're quite close to Wilmington, so we will definitely have to visit.
Very close to Wilmington, yeah, about 45 minutes south of Wilmington. So we're about a 20-minute walk to the beach from our house. Well, any fans that come over to visit the States, please reach out to us, and we'd love to show you what we have available to us in our little place.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Oliver and Terry Holler. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Jack. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.